Love is often described as a beautiful force that inspires, heals, and uplifts. But not every connection that calls itself love is healthy. Sometimes what we think is love is actually a toxic attachment disguised as affection. It can begin subtly, almost invisibly. At first you may feel cared for, desired, or even deeply understood. But over time, small cracks start to appear. Instead of feeling empowered and supported, you start feeling drained, uncertain, and somehow less than you were before. This is the essence of toxic love. It pretends to be nurturing, but it quietly chips away at your self-worth. Toxic love doesn't always show itself through shouting, aggression, or obvious cruelty. Sometimes it's hidden in constant criticism disguised as helpful advice. It might appear in the form of jealousy that's painted as protection. It can live in subtle control, deciding who you talk to, how you dress, or how you spend your time, while telling you it's all because they care. At first, these behaviors might seem harmless or even flattering, but over time they create an environment where you no longer feel free to be yourself. What makes toxic love so dangerous is how it manipulates your perception of reality. You might begin to believe that you're the problem, that you need to change, try harder, or sacrifice more just to keep the relationship together. Your joy starts to fade, replaced by anxiety, fear, or constant self-doubt. You may even find yourself walking on eggshells, careful with every word and action, so you don't trigger conflict. This isn't love. It's emotional suffocation. Real love allows you to grow. It gives you space to breathe and the confidence to become more of who you are. Toxic love does the opposite. It shrinks you. It makes you hide parts of yourself to avoid criticism or conflict. It convinces you that your worth depends on someone else's approval, and it feeds on your fear of being alone. The more you try to please, the more it takes, and no matter how much you give, it's never enough. The saddest part is that toxic love can make you forget the version of yourself that existed before the relationship. The one who laughed easily, dreamed boldly, and felt secure in their own skin. Instead, you're left questioning your value, wondering if you'll ever be enough, and fearing that you can't survive without the other person. But this is exactly how toxic love maintains its hold over you, by making you believe that leaving would be worse than staying, even when staying is slowly destroying you. Understanding that toxic love is not real love is the first step toward reclaiming your life. Love should be a source of strength, not weakness. It should inspire hope, not fear. If a relationship constantly drains you, silences your voice, and diminishes your joy, then it isn't love. It's control wrapped in sweet words. Recognizing this truth can be painful, but it's also liberating. Once you see it for what it is, you can begin to take back your power. You can start remembering who you were before the relationship and imagining who you could become without the constant weight of someone else's negativity. The love you deserve will never make you feel small. It will never force you to trade your happiness for someone else's comfort. It will encourage your growth, celebrate your individuality, and support your dreams. Anything less than that is not love. It's a shadow of love, a counterfeit that only takes and never truly gives. And the moment you understand this, you open the door to the possibility of finding a love that's pure, uplifting, and real. Leaving a relationship, especially one where love once felt so real and consuming, can be one of the hardest decisions a Asian person will ever make. The idea of walking away often comes with fear, guilt, and a deep sense of loss. You may worry about hurting the other person, about being alone, or about whether you're making the wrong choice. But when a relationship becomes toxic, when it constantly causes you pain, drains your energy, and erodes your self-worth, leaving is not an act of weakness. It is a profound declaration of self-respect. Choosing to leave is a way of saying, I matter. My peace matters. My happiness matters. It's refusing to tolerate disrespect, manipulation, or emotional harm, even if the person causing it is someone you deeply love. Too often, people stay in harmful relationships because they confuse endurance with loyalty. They believe that if they just try harder, forgive more, or love unconditionally, things will eventually get better. But the truth is, love alone cannot fix a toxic situation, especially when the other person is unwilling to change. When you stay in a toxic relationship, you're telling yourself, consciously or unconsciously, that your needs are less important than the other person's comfort. You accept less than you deserve, thinking that leaving would mean giving up. But in reality, staying in an environment that constantly hurts you is what gives up your future, your dreams, and your sense of self. Walking away is not giving up. It is reclaiming those things. Self-respect is not about arrogance or pride. It's about understanding your own value. It's about knowing that you are worthy of love that is kind, respectful, and supportive. When you walk away from toxicity, you are not rejecting love. You are rejecting pain disguised as love. You are choosing not to compromise your mental health, your self-esteem, or your potential for the sake of a relationship that brings you down. The act of leaving is also an act of courage. It means facing uncertainty, stepping into the unknown, and trusting that you can survive and thrive without the person you once depended on. It means enduring the temporary discomfort of loss for the sake of long-term peace and happiness. Many people stay because they fear the loneliness that might come after leaving, but loneliness is temporary. Self-betrayal can last a lifetime. Walking away can be the beginning of something greater. It gives you the chance to heal, to rediscover who you are outside of the relationship, and to rebuild your confidence. It opens the door for healthier connections, friendships, family bonds, or romantic relationships, where you are appreciated and valued. It allows you to set higher standards for how you expect to be treated in the future. In the end, choosing to leave a toxic relationship is not about rejecting the other person as a human being. It's about refusing to accept behavior that harms you. It's a powerful statement to yourself and the world that you will no longer settle for less than you deserve, that you will protect your heart, your mind, and your spirit, even if it means walking away from someone you once thought you couldn't live without. When you decide to leave, you're not only saving yourself from ongoing harm, you're also giving yourself the gift of possibility, the possibility of peace, the possibility of joy, the possibility of love that doesn't hurt. And those possibilities are worth far more than any comfort you might find in staying where you're being diminished. Leaving is not weakness. It's the strongest, most self-loving choice you can make. Love, at its purest, is meant to lift you up. It is supposed to be the safe place you run to when the world feels heavy, the hand that steadies you when you're unsure, and the voice that reminds you of your worth when you forget. True love encourages you to become more of yourself, not less. It celebrates your uniqueness, supports your ambitions, and nurtures your spirit. But when love begins to feel like a cage, when it limits your freedom, silences your voice, and makes you feel smaller instead of stronger, it is no longer love. It has turned into something harmful. In a healthy relationship, both partners have space to grow as individuals. There is trust instead of suspicion, encouragement instead of competition, and freedom instead of control. You are allowed to dream, to pursue your passions, to spend time with friends and family, and to express yourself without fear of judgment or punishment. Your individuality is respected because your partner sees it as part of what makes you special. But in a toxic dynamic, the opposite happens. You are discouraged from chasing your dreams, your interests are dismissed, and your choices are questioned. Slowly, your independence fades, and you begin to feel trapped in a version of life that doesn't feel like your own. Love should never make you feel like you have to hide parts of yourself to be accepted. Yet, in many unhealthy relationships, people start to shrink themselves to avoid conflict. They change the way they speak, dress, or act to keep the peace. They stop sharing their true feelings because they fear being judged, mocked, or ignored. Over time, the relationship becomes less about mutual respect and more about control. And control is not love, it's possession. Being in a relationship where you feel caged can drain your emotional energy and crush your sense of self. Instead of feeling valued for who you are, you feel as though you are constantly being measured against an impossible standard. Your accomplishments may go unnoticed, your needs may be dismissed, and your boundaries may be ignored. This kind of environment doesn't just stunt your growth, it erases parts of you until you barely recognize yourself. It's important to remember that love is not meant to take away your freedom. It is meant to walk alongside it. The best relationships are partnerships, not prisons. Your partner should want you to thrive in every area of your life, even in the areas that don't directly involve them. They should celebrate your victories, comfort you in your struggles, and encourage you to take risks that make you happy. When love becomes a cage, it stops being a partnership and starts being a trap. And you deserve so much more than that. A love that uplifts will inspire you to try new things, to believe in yourself, and to trust that you can handle life's challenges. It will make you feel secure enough to share your deepest fears and boldest dreams. It will push you to grow in ways you never imagined, while still loving you for exactly who you are in this moment. It will never try to break your spirit to keep you close. If you find yourself in a relationship where your light is being dimmed, it's worth asking, is this love helping me become my best self, or is it keeping me from it? Because real love is not afraid of your growth. It knows that the stronger you are as an individual, the stronger you will be together. Anything less is not love. It's fear pretending to be love. And fear will always try to keep you small. But you were not meant to be small. You were meant to shine, to grow, and to live freely, supported by a love that truly wants to see you soar. The most important relationship you will ever have is the one you have with yourself. Every connection you form in life, whether it's with friends, family, or a romantic partner, flows from the foundation of how you see and treat yourself. If you don't value yourself, you will accept treatment that reflects that lack of value. But when you build a strong sense of self-love, you naturally set higher standards, protect your boundaries, and gravitate toward people who treat you with respect. Self-love is not selfish, it is essential. It means understanding that your feelings matter, your needs matter, and your well-being matters. It's about making choices that protect your mental and emotional health, even if those choices are difficult or misunderstood by others. When you truly love yourself, you stop seeking constant validation from the outside world because you already know your worth. You don't need someone to tell you you're enough. You already believe it. In toxic relationships, self-love is often the first thing to erode. You may start to believe the negative things your partner says about you, or you may put their needs so far above your own that you forget you have needs at all. This is why self-love is so crucial. It acts as a shield. It helps you recognize when something isn't right, and gives you the courage to walk away from situations that harm you. Without it, you can find yourself stuck in patterns of accepting less than you deserve. Self-love also means taking responsibility for your own happiness. It's not about waiting for someone else to make you feel complete. It's about building a life that brings you joy, whether or not you have a partner by your side. This might mean pursuing hobbies you love, spending time with people who uplift you, focusing on personal growth, or setting goals that excite you. The more you invest in yourself, the more fulfilled and confident you become. When you have a healthy relationship with yourself, you naturally attract healthier relationships with others. People can sense when you respect yourself, and those who are capable of real love will respect you too. On the other hand, people who seek to manipulate, control, or diminish you will find it harder to do so when you stand firmly in your own worth. Self-love sets the tone. It tells the world how you expect to be treated. It's also important to understand that self-love is not a destination. It's a practice. There will be days when you feel insecure, when you doubt yourself, or when you struggle to make decisions that honor your well-being. That's normal. Self-love isn't about being perfect. It's about consistently choosing yourself, even when it's hard. It's about forgiving yourself for mistakes, learning from them, and continuing to move forward. Walking away from a toxic relationship is one of the greatest acts of self-love you can commit. It's saying, I choose peace over chaos, respect over disrespect, and growth over stagnation. It's refusing to let someone else's inability to love you properly convince you that you are unworthy of love at all. It's trusting that the pain of leaving will eventually fade, but the pain of staying might never end. When you put yourself first in this way, you're not closing yourself off from love. You're making space for the kind of love that's worthy of you. You're opening the door to relationships that are built on mutual respect, trust, and care. And most importantly, you're ensuring that no matter what happens in your life, you will always have someone who loves you deeply, unconditionally, and without harm. You. Because at the end of the day, you are the one person you will spend your entire life with. Treat yourself like you deserve that love. Because you do.